Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, all of my beautiful, wonderful, amazing friends from the internet. I hope each and every single one of you is doing very well today and is having a blessed day. So, I'm so excited, everybody. We have some big news. Big news. I mean, not super big news, but it's big to me, and I'm really happy about this. So, before we head into anything, welcome to the Reddit Asks Us podcast, where we read and react to comments from r/Askreddit. I am your host, Luke Dick. Remember, if you're watching on YouTube, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever else you get your podcasts, make sure to leave us a rating, and also please leave us a review. Now, if you go to Spotify, featuring Spotify's new Q&A feature, if you go to the episode description, just below the description, you should see the question of the episode, and you can actually reply to this question, and I will read these responses out loud next week on the following episode. So I am so happy because I got 5 responses. I believe it's 5. I think it's 5. Or no, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's, 4. I got 4 responses this week, and I am ecstatic about this. I absolutely love the fact that people are going out of their way to reply to the episode descriptions, because I think it just really, I really love engaging with everybody in the podcast, and like, I like making it feel like it's a collective show. I don't really like to have an ownership over this type of thing. I think, since I'm reading people's stories on Reddit, it also would be super fun to read your stories, and I'm honestly just the messenger. It's not like I really am doing a whole lot other than just reading and reacting to the stories. But I'm so thankful for everybody who responded this week, because it means so much to me. So please, in the weeks following, please don't hesitate to go and answer some of the questions from episodes previous. So, last week's episode was, what was your final screw you to a boss you didn't like? So, Anna Horn comments, says, I was an office manager. I helped businesses expand and increase efficiency. I had to decrease my hours, and I was pushed out. The boss kept calling me after I left town, hoping I would come back. So thank you so much, Anna, for your comment. I think, like, office manager, it's like such a generic title, but yet, and like, people who work in an office probably doesn't even know what an office manager does until they leave. And so the office manager leaves, and it's like, well, where's the organization for literally everything? And so your job is taken for granted because the title is so vague, but yet it is so vague because you have so many, like, a plethora of different responsibilities. Aaron commented and said, I was just testing this out. It's a cool feature. It's not obvious enough on Spotify, though. Yeah, I agree. It is not obvious enough. So when you're scrolling through the episodes, you actually have to click on the episode, because I know you can just click play if you're scrolling through the episodes on the main Ask Reddit sort of like page. But if you click on the episode to read the whole description, click on the episode itself, right below the description, you should see in bold letters Q&A and a white little button to the bottom right of that says reply. Another thing that I wish was improved about this is that I can't respond to you directly, which is kind of annoying, because I would really like to respond to your comments on the app on Spotify, so that you guys know that I saw your comments. And because if you miss an episode for a week and you don't ever listen to it, you might think I didn't read your comment. So next comment, Harley Gold says, comment just to make you feel less alone. I'm new here, but not to the Reddit Spotify genre. Well, thank you so much for commenting and making me feel less alone. I really appreciate that, boosting the engagement, and it's really encouraging other people to reply to the episodes. I really want to do that. It's fun to help build. It's fun to build a community, and I know that a lot of people listen through Spotify, and it's fun to just increase the community. So thank you so much, Harley. Last comment comes from PS Ad, I was fired unjustly, and as a response, I took all of my customers that loved me to my new job. The business lost about a quarter of their contracts. That is a boss move. You want to be able to, feel like appreciated where you work, and you don't? Leave. Take those clients with you. Be like, you know what? I'm a salesman. These are my clients. So why don't I just call them up and just say, hey, I'm moving over to a new business and I can get you better prices. And just all around, there's going to be more resources for you. So leave this old company behind and come and follow me. There you go. Problem solved. And now your old business is going to truly understand what it means to have an actual person who does real work in their office. And how much they need to appreciate people who work for them. All right, so thank you all so much again for commenting. I encourage, please, anybody to go to Spotify and comment and reply. Remember, Spotify is free. You don't need a subscription to listen to podcasts on Spotify, so it's free to listen to. So if you go to Spotify, please comment under the reply section. So now why don't we just hop into today's episode? So again, coming at us from Askreddit, what was the most messed up thing you saw at your school? And this one, I feel like there was like, I don't know how deep I want to get into some of the crazy things that I saw in high school, but I feel like high school is just like such a giant grouping of a bunch of kids from just all different walks of life. I mean, you group all of these kids together, some crazy stuff is about to go down. Like, it's just bound to happen. Like, the amount of times that I was in high school and saw crazy fights. Like, there was a fight. Like, I was in like the 12th grade, and there were these like grade 10 girls fighting on the lawn in front of our high school, and they were just going at it. Like, there was another crazy thing that happened. This video was like shared all around our school where this kid had beef with this other kid, and he like walked into the classroom and he like took his head and like slammed it on the desk, like out of nowhere, out of absolutely nowhere. And that video was crazy. Probably the most messed up thing though was this was very messed up, and there, like, I don't know how deep I can get really into this story because of how messed up this really was, but a kid in my high school had like received some sort of explicit photos from another person in our high school, and this person gave and shared these photos, and this other person basically created an Instagram account and posted these photos online, and the police were involved, and it was messed up. It was really messed up. I felt so horrible for everybody involved, and I was so shocked. I was like, honestly though, I felt kind of like, I was like, come on, bro. Like, what are you doing, dude? Like, that is just such a horrible thing to do to somebody. I mean, nobody was, like, of course it's an extremely terrible situation, but nobody ended up harming themselves or anything like that. So that's a good thing. But that was messed up. Everybody in school lost total respect for this person. A couple of people really involved after that situation went down, because they were just like, that is just you don't do that, bro. You cannot do that. But that is a wild, messed up thing that happened in my high school. And don't worry, like, I not even closely participated in this. I was just someone in the school who had heard about it, and it was really messed up. So why don't we just turn to everybody's stories here? So, country 728. Some kids were punching a mason jar lid that we used to seal a jar with some bug in it. They were doing it as some sort of who's tougher test. When the teacher sees this and sees they have small scratches on their knuckles, she proceeds to tell them that the bug was poisonous and that they will die very soon, since they drew blood punching the lid. We were maybe 10 at the time. She made them write goodbye notes to their parents and make goodbye speeches to the class. We were all tripping because we believed her too. It was wild. That is such a, like, what is going on in the teacher's head? Like, they're punching a jar, like a mason jar with a bug in it, and you're just going to be like, well, guys, even though you didn't touch that bug, basically any chance that you have to survive for the rest of your life is completely futile. I'm sorry, it's are futile. You have nothing. You're gonna die. You are going to die. You know, how do you feel about that? 10 years old? Do you really feel like you lived the life? Do you really think that punching that mason jar was worth it? I hope it was, because now you're going to be dead by the end of the day. You thought about seeing your parents again? Never going to happen. Sorry, kiddo. That is so traumatic. That is like, what the fuck? Like, what the hell? How can you tell that to a child? Like, yeah, you were punching a mason jar? Well, little did you know that you're actually going to be dead. That's death. That means death for you. Like, okay, punching a mason jar. Probably shouldn't do that, but it's little boys, okay? Like, they're being stupid. They're not harming the bug inside. It's also not like it was like it's a bug. Like, well, I don't want to like equate different types of life, but like it's not like it was a dog. You know what I mean? It's not like they're physically abusing some sort of animal. Like, it's just like it's a bug that you keep in a mason jar, and they're punching this mason jar. Kids do stupid stuff. I'm not saying it's right, but kids do stupid stuff like that. It's what kids do. Kids trap bugs in mason jars and do all sorts of weird stuff. I think it's a little bit over the line to say that they deserve to die for that. Yeah, and what is like the teacher's justification there? So you, I understand, Mrs. Smith. You told them that since they punched this mason jar, they were gonna die. Well, it seemed like the only logical solution. You know, you punch a mason jar, you pretty much deserve to die. Are you telling me that they didn't deserve to die? If they were going through the criminal justice system, you're telling me they wouldn't have gotten the death penalty. I can't let that slide. I can't let it slide. They need to understand that death is a punishment. It's a real punishment, and it should be a real punishment for this situation. They deserve to die. I don't know how to tell you this, but we're going to have to let you go. Yeah, on the grounds of you're completely psychotic. And you're telling little children that they're going to die. Europod88 replies and says, "This sounds like something my brother would tell me when we were kids, such as the recorded bear growls played on a local bear-themed amusement park ride were real audio recordings of a man being mauled by a bear. The condensation on the windows in a bus we were on might build up so that we would drown before we got where we were going. The dead scorpion encased in epoxy he had in his room was actually alive, and he could free it somehow and send it at me if I annoyed him too much. Those rockets on display at the Space Museum, they forgot to drain the fuel, so if you stand underneath, there's a chance that it will ignite and you will turn into charred bits. And of course, the classic, if you accidentally eat an apple seed, you'll slowly die and become an apple tree." Yeah, that's brothers. That's two brothers. The apple seed thing, I remember it was always like, because everyone was like, apple seeds have cyanide in them. That can kill you. If you don't ever eat an apple seed, you'll die. You'll die if you eat an apple seed. It is literal poison in it, literal cyanide. That's what the CIA uses. They use apple seeds to kill themselves. That's what they have to do. If they're caught, they're going to be tortured, and they have to die. Easily concealable apple seed. Easily concealable apple seed. Hidden in your eyelid. They hide the apple seed just right up there. Yep, you wouldn't even know it. Wouldn't even think about it. Yep, but just right there, they blink a little hard. Boom. Apple seed falls out. They eat the apple seed. They don't, like, they have to put it in your eyelid because it's got to, if you don't have access to your hands tied up, it's got to, got to maneuver your face muscles, kind of get it sliding down a little bit. Apple seed's kind of falling a little bit around, stick your tongue out. Apple seed falls on your tongue, you're golden. You're golden. That's money, baby. That's money. It's classic CIA. Classic CIA. All right, next comment comes from DippyCat149. Not saw, but did experience the aftermath. A kid at our school died once while out on a school camp. They were way, way out in the Australian outback. The teachers made barbecue for the kids, and one of the boys, for some reason, ate the food without asking what was in them, even though his parents had filled out the permission form indicating clearly that he had food allergies. Long story short, hardcore anaphylaxis. Throat swelled shut, fell to the ground, foaming. School nurse stabbed him with every single EpiPen they had in the medical kit. Nothing. Nada. Zip. Nothing happened. Picked him up, threw him in the van, and sped out of the campsite at top speed down the road. They were so far out in the middle of nowhere that there's no phone reception. Can't do anything. Can't call for an ambulance, helicopter, nothing. Finally got to the nearest town, called emergency services. Helicopter arrived, loaded the kid onto it, started treatment, flew straight back to town. Never made it. He died before the chopper landed. I was working at the school at the time. I had a job offered by the school to graduates, which I accepted, and found out all the details from the school nurse. That is insane. That is wild. But I do have to say, okay, I'm somebody who has allergies, okay? I have a nut allergy, and that's not just peanuts, okay? It's all of them. Every single one. Almonds, cashews, pistachios, did I say pecans? I don't know. All of them. Literally every single nut, and slightly, not fully, slightly allergic to sesame. So it's like, I've lived my whole life with this allergy, and you got to understand, that's on you, bro. You have to be looking out for yourself. One of the first thing my mom would ever teach me about my allergies was that you never accept food from somebody if you don't know exactly what's in it. You need to know exactly what is in that food, and you always ask. You always ask. Because having a peanut allergy or a nut allergy, not everybody is used to that. Not everybody is used to preparing for that. So, like, I've had someone put food in front of my face, and I'll be like, "Oh, do you know if this has any nuts in it or anything? I'm allergic to nuts." And a lot of times people will be like, "Oh my goodness, I didn't even know," and they'll pull it away from me because they either don't know or they did put something with nuts inside of it. So it's like you got to be responsible for that, man. If you're just eating meat off the kebab, just sucking down that meat, you don't know what's on it. I mean, it doesn't really say what his food allergies were, but I know, I definitely know. And don't worry, I've had my own slip ups. Don't even get me wrong. I've definitely had my own experiences with that sort of stuff. Not saying that this person had deserved any of this, but come on, bro. You do got to be looking out for your own life. No one's just going to go ask around, "Oh, before I serve this meal, does anyone have any peanut allergies? Does anyone have any nut allergies?" I highly, highly doubt that. That would be a very accommodating world if we did live in that world. But that is a wild thing. Similar sort of thing, because when I was in high school, I was in this class called Outdoor Ed, and we did a trip to very far northern Saskatchewan. Similar thing, though. If anything were to go down, there was our teacher had a satellite phone. That was the only phone we had access to. And we were told to leave our phones in the car because there's just no point, unless maybe you wanted to use it to take photos or something. There's really no, or maybe listen to some music that you had downloaded, but really there was no point because there's no cell reception. So yeah, he had a satellite phone and a GPS. All right, next one comes from Gores. The bullied kid, other than myself, absolutely losing his goddamn mind and beating the hell out of his bully. There was blood everywhere, mostly on the kid. He was punching, he was kicking, he was slamming his head against a bench. He bit part of his ear off. No lying, he had almost killed him. Broke several ribs, several fingers, his ankle, jaw. Apparently had tons of mental health issues and deliberately stopped taking his meds just so he was unhinged enough to do that to his bully. People talked about it for years after it happened. A buddy of mine became a teacher there. It still apparently gets mentioned like it's a folktale over 18 years later. You gotta love a good comeback story. I mean, my heart goes out to the kid, mental health issues and all this sort of stuff. That's tough. But getting bullied is it's a tough thing, man. It's it really can really affect people, man. Like of course it can. Obviously people have done horrible things because of bullying, but even just the slightest thing, it's just feeling like you're the other or outside of a group can just have a wild impact on people. But at least in this one, it's not like he was violent against innocent people. he kind of, if you've been bullied for years, I think it gives you a little bit of leeway. I think you get a little bit of, well, just you can throw a couple punches. Not saying you gotta almost kill somebody, but throw a couple punches, throw a couple kicks, you might be fracture a jaw, maybe crack a femur, just something light, just a little. Cracking a femur is not something light. Maybe just cracking a forearm, I don't know. Nothing too intense. But bruise the guy. You know what I mean? I think yeah. Of course, you don't. It's not gonna. It's never a great thing to beat somebody up. But if it there's a little leeway. We can have a little bit of justification. So Dry Delivery 6631 replies and says, "What happened to the bully and Mike Tyson?" Gores replies and says, people did make that connection too. The bully was out of school for a long time, came back after a few weeks, apparently had some kind of PTSD, and then his parents pulled him out of school and homeschooled him. The kid, people aren't sure. He was immediately expelled. The other kid's parents wanted to press charges. No one really saw him again afterwards. See, but the thing is too, is like, couldn't you press charges for bullying someone? Like that is like emotional harassment, verbal harassment, verbal assault. And it's like, when this stuff adds up, it is not ridiculous to think that somebody could just go overboard. You know what I mean? Just that stuff builds up if you're constantly feeling like nobody wants you and that you're hated for no reason, no good reason, just because you're an easy target. And you have that happen to you over and over and over again. I mean, maybe you could countersue him. Or just get the suit dropped altogether. User, what is the format? Replies and says, a milder version of this happened in my school. My friend was of slight build, raised in Germany, born in Italy. Perfect target for bullying in my small Midwestern town to where his family had unfortunately transplanted. One big dude who fancied himself a cowboy, who wore boots with spurs and had a plug of chaw in his mouth at all times, bullied a lot of kids. Chaw, in case anyone doesn't know, that's chewing tobacco. He would intimidate my friend, yell at him, make fun of his accent, etc., get in his face, push him around. My friend was actually a little on the impulsive and wild side. He totally hid that side of himself in school, mainly because of the relentless bullying. Anyway, one day he had enough. Suddenly, he jumped on this cowboy's back like a goddamn gazelle, grabbed his head as they both headed for the floor, and proceeded to smack this guy's head into the concrete a couple times. Thank God a hall monitor was nearby and pulled him off. I thought for sure he was going to kill him. My friend got a lot of detention, but no charges were filed by the family because I think they knew what a sadistic kid they had raised. The kid came back to school after a week looking bruised up, didn't bully another kid again. See? Parents knew. The parents knew that one. The parents, they were aware. They were like, what happened to you? Oh, I got my head, man. My head got slammed into the concrete by this stupid German kid. Oh, that's tough. That's a tough one. Sorry that happened to you, buddy. Sorry about that one. You want to just hang out and watch TV? I don't know. Maybe you should just go up to your room by yourself. Maybe you should just hang out, Just kind of think about maybe why this occurred, Just maybe it might be a little bit of a lesson for you because I can't seem to get through to you. So, just take this with a, take this as how about we treat this as a learning experience? How about that? How about we kind of treat this as a, I screwed up, I messed up. So, you gotta figure out a way to just learn from this experience. This is going to be a great opportunity. Don't look at this as a traumatic event in your life. Look at this as an opportunity. Okay, all right. The door's been opened. When one door opens, another one closes. Right? Isn't that what they say? Maybe is that the correct expression to use here? I just think about it. Park said 24, a new comment. Someone used a deer carcass to tie the front doors together so no one could get in the school. What? That's your first like you have rope or chains. How would you have gotten the deer carcass up there? It's not just going to tie itself. You're not just going to use its legs and bend them and break them into tying a knot. You needed to use rope to tie the door. Why wouldn't, or a lock? Maybe that didn't come to your head the first, isn't that like, was that not the first idea that might have popped into your head? I really want to lock this door. I've got it. Deer carcass. Just seems perfect, right size. Just get it there, just kind of maneuver it in there, and I'll probably chain it up, maybe put a padlock on it. Only I have the key, right? So only I can get in. What do you think? Okay, it's an interesting idea, but if you're gonna use a chain and a padlock, well, what's the deer carcass for? Well, I mean, it's just maybe just for aesthetic purposes. I have got this deer carcass lying around. Not really gonna do much with it. You ever thought about maybe just throwing it out? Maybe that's what you should do. Maybe just throw it out. It's a deer carcass. It's gonna biodegrade. It's not like you're gonna be littering. You know what? Let's just all right, let's take it back to being more. Let's take a holistic approach. All right. When my family, when we kill a deer, for food, and we have its carcass, we have to figure out a way to use the whole deer. All right, that's the way to respect nature. Okay, if you're gonna respect nature, you got to use the whole animal. All right, so if I don't use this deer carcass, I'm actually offending the earth. All right, I'm actually offending it because I'm now just gonna throw it away and not use it for any other practical purpose. I don't think that I don't know about that, but I don't think that's the right interpretation of that, of a holistic approach. I'm going out on a limb here, okay? This is just my speculation, but if I had to say, I don't think that I don't think that's what holistic means in this sense. I don't really see the deer carcass as being much of a practical purpose. Whatever, man. Whatever. You just hate the earth. You're all for that global warming, climate change stuff, man. I'm not about that. I gotta recycle, reduce, reuse, recycle. That's how I am. So I'm getting mad at you now. How could I not use a deer carcass? Next one comes from Loompa Foo. 2 things. I saw a girl bite another girl's nipple off in a fight. I also walked into a bathroom while a mentally disabled kid was peeing at the urinal with his pants around his ankles and freestyle rapping. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm just trying to imagine that. Freestyling, just like going off, like Juice WRLD, like an hour-long freestyle, Or no, like Smoke Perps freestyle. I'm a motherfucking boner. I got a motherfucking boner. I got a motherfucking boner. Just repeating Smoke Perps freestyle. If you guys haven't seen Smoke Perps freestyle, go to YouTube and watch up Smoke Perp freestyle, and look up like Much Dank or whatever. Where do you come up with the idea to bite somebody's nipple off? I mean, yes, granted, that is going to be extremely painful. Probably more painful than most things you could experience in a fight and in a single moment. Where does that come from? How are you just got her in a headlock and you're just like, oh. You don't even know. You thought this headlock was bad? You don't even know. You don't even have a clue what I'm about to do right now. You thought you liked your nipples? You thought you had your nipples? Well, too bad. Looks like they're mine now. I'm gonna, maybe she just likes eating nipples. That's just like her. She has this like crazy fetish that she needs to satisfy. She's just like, she comes to school with these like weird crispy things, just chowing down. People are like, what is that? What are those? Dried nipples. Nice one, nice one. No, but seriously, what are they actually though? Uh, Candy. You got me. You got me. Candy from the candy store. Oh, that's funny. I haven't had any candy look like that before. Yeah, yeah. It's kind of one of those rare candy special store, you know, special kind of thing. It's a specialty item. You got to get it ordered. Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna head out of here. Yeah, she was just expressing her need to do that. That she didn't even want to do that in terms of the fight. She just thought it was convenient. Um. All right, next one. Harry Downtown says, a new kid at our school grabbed the art teacher's scissors and threw them over a dividing wall when the teacher left the room. They hit some girl in a different art class on the other side, and one of the blades went through her cheek. We were held after class until he finally confessed, and we saw the police at school later. He had been at our school for about a week, and we never saw him again after that day. Who's like, where do these kids come from? Like, there's why are there always those kids? Why are there always those kids who are just throwing scissors, doing weird stuff? Like, why are there always these kids? Is there like a factory? They're just pumping these little menaces out. Like, what's the how does that who just scissors right across the room, right into someone's cheek? You know, that could have only gone worse. That could have only gone worse. I think it's the least likely thing is that they would have just randomly hit the ground. That, like, could you imagine if those went into someone's eye? Like, it's just, you know, you can't have throwing stars. Not allowed them. Can't have them. So, guess I'm just gonna improvise, you know? Get a pair of scissors, just ah! Nailed it. Let's go. Another school next week, baby. Next one comes from Diltra, middle school. Girl had the sewing machine needle go right through her finger. The left with the needle and thread just hanging out. Ugh. Another kid had an X-Acto knife stabbed right into his wrist by accident, so close to the artery. High school. Girl was run over by a bus. It backed over her, then pulled forward over her again. We had fundraisers and pep rallies for her. She made a full recovery and is still playing sports at almost 40. Thank God. Oh my goodness. I was like, please tell me this person is alive. There's no way I can handle that with a bad ending. Sex in the bathroom. Endangered turtle was found during construction. All construction had to stop until the turtle moved out. PE teacher, you know how that one goes. I feel like, well, sex in the bathroom is not crazy. That's just teenager stuff. The based turtle though, based school for waiting till the turtle moves out. I mean, that's just the right move. What are you gonna do there? I mean, you got to stop construction. It's a turtle, okay? What turtles have only been subject to suffering in this world. Okay, that's it. All right, there's been no everything's turtles, right? The straws are the turtles, the plastic, those six-pack plastic rings, turtles, man. Everything's always affecting turtles. You know, I saw when I was in Hawaii once, I saw a huge dead turtle on the beach. It was one of the saddest things I've ever seen. That was tough, man. That was definitely tough. We need to figure out all the ways in the world we can stop hurting these turtles, okay? Based decision by the school. All right, last one here is TPunk00 says, the ambulance in front of the school because two guys glued their eyelids shut with a quick dry adhesive. Okay, guys, I think I'm just done with the internet, like, for today. I'm done with the internet. Like, what is even, like... You know what's really awesome, bro? Sleeping, bro. I love sleeping, bro. Eyes are shut, bro. I wish I could sleep forever, dude. Yeah, bro. Bro, that's fucking fact, dude. Holy fuck, bro. That's fact, bro. Bro, you wanna... Bro, we can do it, bro. We can sleep for the rest of our fucking lives, bro. Why don't we just take this crazy glue, bro? And we'll just glue our eyes shut, dude. We'll just glue them right shut. We won't have to ever open them again. Don't you just hate class, bro? You look up on the board, there's like math. Bro, I'm not about that, dude. I'm just gonna close my eyes forever, bro. Yeah, and little did you know, you're gonna become blind because of that. So if you wanted your eyes to be closed, couldn't see anything, you kind of got your wish. Like, what? How do you even... Why? I'm not even gonna bother. I feel like there's just no rational basis behind this reasoning whatsoever as to why you would do that. So, you deserve it. Anyways, okay, thank you all so very much for tuning into this week's episode of the Reddit Asks Us. Remember, this is the podcast where we read and react to comments from r/Askreddit. I am your host, Luke Dick. Remember, if you're watching on YouTube, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever else you get your podcast. Please leave us a rating, and also please leave us a review. And remember, if you want your comment read out on next week's episode, you can go to Spotify, click the episode description, and right underneath the episode description, there's going to be in bold letters a question from this week's episode, and you can reply to that question with the little white button to the lower right, and I will read out those replies on the next week's following episode. So thank you all so much for tuning in, and I will be with y'all next week. Peace out. Love you. Bye.